Oasis. Tonight we have Basically Throwing versus Valkyries. I am your host, Sebi, and joining me tonight is Gibber16.
Hello, everybody.
How are you doing
I've made
tonight?
you owner, if you'd like to test pause.
And it's not working, of course.
What kind of night would it be if pause doesn't work immediately when it's supposed to?
You know what? Wait. What did I do?
Did you press the up button on your D-pad?
Oh, so up, okay.
Mm-hmm. I remember last game that was very confusing for me, and I could not figure out how to reset it and get it properly set, so it was the up on the D-pad.
It's weird because I set it to square just before this. Anyway,
I mean, a button's a button, right?
so it looks like Basically Throwing is going to go for a Torb and Ashe along with Double Shield, Lucio and Moira. So surprised to see no Mercy there for a pocket on Bub. Maybe she doesn't need one.
From the side of Valks, we are going to be seeing a Rhine with a Hog along with a McCree Sombra and a Mercy Lucio. So those Lucios will get them together at point at the same time.
A nice early pick there from Bub. Ravioli
Bub does go
back,
down to the Sombra.
Looking like a fight in favor of Basically Throwing right now. Clan Tag Toaster and Gamer's Blood are just following up with the kills.
Smart from Valks to go after Bub early, because we've seen Bub get a lot of good utilization on Ashe, especially on these open ranged maps. So taking her out early definitely negates a lot of dynamites. There's a lot of poke damage going back and forth here, but it looks like basically sort of just backing up to point, making sure they hold it and play on it instead.
Eagle does take out the turret, but nothing so far. Bleem is still pretty low right now. He needs to be careful, though he does take out Lady of Siren. Ravioli with the follow-up onto Twinkie. Clan-Tag does take out Ryan, though, but the nice res from Daniyuki. And it looks like... I was going to say Valkyries were going to take it, but that was a nice... shatter. Is it enough?
That was a massive shatter from Toaster on top of a flux from that Sigma on Gamer's Blood to just kind of follow up and make sure they took point to 50%. So, while a lot of ults used there and not a whole lot of follow-up, I do like the utilization that Basically did on their ult there.
Yeah, you can't complain. You got it up to almost 60% there.
Mm-hmm. Especially because we saw Gamers change from Sigma to their own Hog here.
We will see a few more ults coming online for both teams into this next fight. Valkyries are looking healthier in terms of this though.
We did see EMP come out too on the side of Valkyries.
Good job hiding from the high noon there as well. Unfortunately, Younger Bibi wasn't able to get anyone. Twinkie does take out Bleem, Toaster with the follow-up.
Amazing placement from Bub on that Bob into the backlines of Bleem, able to kind of just take down that last bit of health from Clan Tag's Molten Core.
And it looks like Fentanyl was able to get out. Now we do have Beat and Shatter available for Valkyries here. Beat is also available for Basically Throwing.
Along coming up on that Shatter and on top of that Roadhog ult, so just a couple of quick early picks and Basically would be able to build these ults up.
Let's get a little check into Bleem's play. Is he going to go for the Shatter here?
Bob took a lot of damage from that Fire Strike on Bleem, and Bleem hits 3.
Both beats coming out. Bub does get the kill onto Younger Bibi. Ravioli bringing it back and taking out Clan Tag. Anyone's fight right now. A nice EMP finds the remaining 4 on point. Toaster does get 2.
Able to make sure Gamer wasn't able to heal up immediately, but unfortunately, you know, we do see Beagle get caught a little bit in the backlines there trying to go after Gamer, and the rest of the team was able to kind of follow up and help out.
What did you think Valkyries needed there, though?
Honestly, it's not that anything was bad. I think it was just a little more target focus. They played fairly mirroring comps. Young Habibi was, able to kind of contest Bub a little bit with that long range McCree, but it maybe like Ravioli got really great hacks in, and I think just if Valks had kind of focused in a little bit more on who Ravioli had hacked, they would have been perfectly fine in that. So would like to see that happen in this game.
I think Ravioli was doing a really good job on hacking and taking out their targets.
Yeah,
we
we saw
through a little more, then I think Valkyries would have done a lot more.
2 quick EMPs from Ravioli, and Ravioli was able to take down DPSs both on separate occasions, on top of just doing some backwards damage there, backline damage there to the healers.
A nice flashbang kill there from Young Habibi onto Twinkie. One less move to worry about, though the res does come out and Lady of Siren does get him back up.
In an early res there on the side of basically, and they do lose clan tag to that. They lose the fire in the sky.
There was a nice sleep there from Fentanyl onto Twinkie, though he was able to get out with just under 40 health. A huge
amazing pull from Bleem.
Nice hack there as well. Toaster is hacked.
Nice protection from Bub, and Toaster was able to get their shield back up just in time in case it was needed, but really great ice wall from Bub.
Looks like Young Habibi doesn't need his ult though. He was able to get another flashbang kill onto Toaster this time.
What I will say is, while that was a great take there from Valkyries, they did have to use an ult there early on. They do have almost 3 to 4 online here, but basically throwing does have 3 to 4 themselves online. So it's just a matter of does this fight turn into an over ult or?
And Freeze does come out. Looks like they are really able to capitalize from that, and it looks like a snowball there. No pun intended. Alright, we do have a few ults online for both teams now, EMP being quite a big one. Looking to be 4 or 5 ults per team for this next fight, so definitely going to be an exciting watch. Welcome to the stream, nation.
Valkyrie's able to get a really nice percentage though.
Just missed that, but a nice shatter. Was able to find 2 or 3. Oh, and a nice hook from Beetle.
I like the aggressiveness here from basically able to take that main tank out early. Amazing high noon there.
Looks like Valkyries really want to hold on to this point. Want to keep that pressure up, and they still have that EMP for this next fight. Twinkie does need to be careful about that though.
Right now the ult advantage is definitely in favor of Valkyries here, and they can easily take this to Lighthouse as long as they don't over ult and overextend here.
That being said though, Bubsud did get a really nice headshot onto the Mercy. Twinkie with a follow-up, so Valkyrie's working with no healers right now.
Great rotation from basically to just kind of come behind in their backlines and pincer them a little bit by leaving both DPS in the front there, while the tanks and the 2 healers went backlines.
EMP did come out a little too late there. I think that's one thing basically really are happy that they got out of the way for that fight.
AtCat, this is not my favorite map. You know that.
It's everyone's favorite map.
Except for Jibba's. Everyone knows it's my least favorite map. Anyone who likes this map is a heathen.
It's a great new map. Imagine playing Pharaoh on this map. From the flank, Young does find Twinkie.
Amazing pull from Gamer's Blood, able to take Bleem out of the fight.
last fight territory for both teams here.
Clan Tag trying so hard to just reset there, but was negated for even just a couple of seconds by Beagle, who pulled him back up out of the well just to put him back in it.
Let's see. Ravioli into. There comes B. Unfortunately, there is no EMP to negate that. And that's one scary hog from Beagle. Is it going to be enough to keep the fight in his favor?
Oh, and Bub's so close to having Bob there to help this fight a little bit, but unfortunately was taken out by Beagle. Beagle really hunted Bub down on that one.
A very crucial kill there, stopping Bob from contesting. It's looking like Valkyries are going to take this into Lighthouse.
Unless Twinkie and Gamers are able to stall this as much as they can, and it looks like they're doing their best. And it looks like we get Bob onto point now. Bob not able to get hacked.
So Ravioli is close to that EMP. Young Habibi with 2. Even the dogs are super excited here. Chat, what do you guys want to see for Lighthouse?
As everybody knows, I do love me a good sim teleport strat. One of my favorite things, easily countered by a Lucio ball that can boop everybody off. But
Bastion. Nation, I think you always want a Bastion, right? I remember All-Stars. I remember that horrible period in my time where you forced me to play Bastion.
Sorry for the dogs, chat.
So it looks like basically are going to be running sort of a brawl comp here with the Junkrat and May along with a double shield. And the healers to support as well. But like you were saying, that Symmetra, the TP, they were able to get onto point quicker. And it may be basically his downfall here.
They pulled that TP down early though. We don't see it up anymore.
Ooh,
wondering where they plan on putting that. This clan tag on the Junkrat should be able to do a lot of damage into them and hopefully, you know, break some shields here on Gleam.
Surprisingly, basically Throwing were able to get the point even after being the last ones there. I think they've done a really good job with the turrets and just making sure they take those out.
They can't. Geez, Cat, they have families. Cat doesn't care about families. Cat cares about boops.
And we do see Bob close to the Blizzard. Does a nice Dragons, does get Twinkie, did put Toaster in critical. Had to force Siren to use the Coalescence.
You see a lot of ults here used on the side of basically they want to keep this point as long as possible.
They're doing a good job. Fentanyl did use the nano there to keep Bleem alive. And of course the Dragons were used at the start of the fight, but it is actually looking like a blip here. How did that happen?
Taking it to 75%, or well, 67%, sorry, is really impressive, especially because they still have 3 ults online, and they only really invested 3 into that. They baited out a good amount of ults from Valkyrie, so would really like to see Valkyrie play a little more passively here. You know, build up that Junkrat tire on their own side.
Tire wasn't able to find anyone as Ravioli was able to take it out.
Amazing purple there from Fentanyl.
Be careful though. But Beagle is popping off right now. Finds 3 with his whole hog.
They were able to bait out a lot of ults, but they did use them in return, so they will be coming in with 3 on their own on the side of basically throwing.
And you can say the same for Valkyries here as well. They've got almost 4 ults online.
Yeah, if Ravioli can get a really big tire, they can kind of prevent basically from pushing in here, on top of Young Habibi almost having that Hanzo ult again. basically kind of need to play a little more together. You know, bait this out a little bit.
Oh, Toaster with a nice fire strike onto Ravioli's tire there.
And I like the protective Lucio ult too on the side of Twinkie, just to be 100% sure.
Lena's
Then they
frozen,
can
but the
push into
mana
this
keeping
fight.
him alive yet again. Fight's going back and forth right now, but there's only the Roadhog and the Mercy. Oh, but
And
nice pick there.
they were able to flip it, so if they can get this Roadhog and Mercy, they can definitely stagger them down here a little bit.
Definitely, especially since this is, again, last fight territory. Leaving that hog alive might come back to haunt them. They know he's there as well. But let's see. Gamesflow does have the flux for this final fight.
I think we might see an early flux here.
Be a smart play. Nice rock onto B. Knocked him off the mat there.
Flux able to get two. While the rest of the team does get a couple of picks there. And it will be 1-0 to basically throwing.
Yeah, basically doing a really good job with that pressure, just stopping Bleem. Was it Bleem? Bleem from getting back onto point there, right at the very end.
Not surprised after what we saw last week for casting for Valkyries that Beagle gets a play of the game. Beagle, we have seen, is a very amazing Roadhog and, you know, knows how to use these ults and who to target focus. Rest of the team definitely helped in keeping those characters low, but...
And we do see big numbers here from both teams as well, so pat on the back. Definitely even fight coming into that first map there. Really don't know who is going to take this series, actually, just from that one map. And we already have the lineup from basically throwing.
You better get on those switches then.
So what do you think Valkyries need to do coming into map 2?
I don't really think they honestly need to switch up too much. They had a lot of really good shield break there, especially when Ravioli switched off of the Sombra and to the Junkrat instead. We do have Weiss Queen in now, who everybody knows is a really good Junkrat, so we saw Habibi on the Hanzo, so we might get some double shield break, which could be really good, especially because we did see at one point that basically throwing did run a Rhine and Sigma. Just like I said, a little more focus fire, a little more targeting on their side, and I think that's all it's going to take for them. They have all of the components in place to, you know, do what they need to do on all of these maps. It's just a matter of you have to synergize as well as the team that you're playing against is. What are you thinking?
It's definitely a tough one. I think they definitely need to get their focus fire a little more intact. Not that it's bad, but if they all focus one target a little more, I think their fights are going to go a lot smoother for them.
But the question is, what do you want to see on Numbani now?
That's a tough one.
Alright, so we have Toaster Clan, Gamer, Bub, Val, Siren, which you've got already. You don't pay attention to things in match chat, do you?
Of course I do.
Of course. And that profile is open now.
So we should be good to go as long as we get the readies. I do want to see a Pharaoh on this map, and actually maybe a Bastion. Shout out to Nation here. Bub, as we know, is going to more than likely be on either Ashe or May. Definitely going to be a worrisome role for Valkyries to deal with.
So we're just looking for readies and or if there are still chat glitches.
Hopefully no more chat glitches. Ice Queen is also going to be in on this map. Definitely known for their Junkrat, I believe. So hopefully
Yeah.
we can see some decent tires. And we got the readies.
And we go.
We go again.
Traveling to Numbani.
Would definitely like to see maybe a dive coming out from Valkyries for attack here.
Chat's requesting matching player icons.
I mean, it does look pretty cool when all 6 people have that icon.
Ready.
It's gotta be the happy squid though. Okay, so we got a double Junkrat coming out from both teams here. Basically are gonna run that double shield along with the Junkrat and Ashe. Gonna have Lady of Siren pocketing Bub and Valerian for that extra healing. Now, Valkyries are going to be running that double spam with a brawly tank line, Ryan and Zarya along with Mercy and Lucia. So they do have the defensive ult available, but is it going to be enough heals, especially with Gamer's Blood on the Junkrat?
Defend objective A.
And with the double shield, Bub, or excuse me, without the double shield, Bub will get more utilization.
Interesting to see Clan Tag and Gamers switching here. Early picks here on the side of basically throwing. Already baited out that Mercy res.
It's a good rest though. I am curious to see what the plan here is for Valkyries. Valerian with another kill. Does take out Young Habibi. Are they going to wait for him? Or it looks like there's...
Toaster did drop high ground to sort of meet Valkyries here to make sure they were not able to push in.
Clan Tag is going a little deep. He wants to get some ult charge here. Does need to be careful. Oh, the boop almost knocked him back up perfectly.
These differences in the ult charges between these Reinhardts, though, is very drastic here right now.
Tessa needs to be careful. He is being singled out right now. Oh, but a nice pin there. Does take out Daniyuki.
Oh, but Weiss Queen with an amazing 3k there. 2k.
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 Bibi and Kakashi were able to Take out 2 people there as well. This is going to be a nice stagger onto clan tag here. Pookie finds 2, Valerian and clan tag. So they're going to get bad spawn. Definitely going to be, gotta be careful if you're basically throwing right now, as you're going to go into this fight as a 4v6. Though Bub did get the pick, but the headshot from young Phoebe and the res there as well. So basically throwing really need to be careful here.
Amazing ult there from Clan Tag. On top of that pin from Toaster into the backlines, takes out a main tank. Can I speak please? Makes the rest of the team sort of turn there and look at him, and allows basically throwing to sort of beat up on the rest of those kills. We have a lot of ults on the side. A lot of ults on the side of Valks though.
Clan tag was taken out with the damage there from the dragons, and young Phoebe following up with it. Basically throwing down 2 here. Gotta be careful.
You can see Clan Tag off the Sigma onto a D.Va now.
Nice block there as well from Kakashi.
But amazing block and return from Toaster.
Westwing with the tire does take out Babsad. Danny with the res onto Kakashi. It's a pretty big res, you gotta be careful. Nice grab there as well. Looks like the Reinhardts are going racing here.
Like Reinhardt.
Reinhardt, I like that.
But really good pin there from Kakashi to start with, and Toaster was a little bit in the backline, so I do like the pin to get him out while also trying to take out their Rein. But we saw a really nice bubble there from Pookie onto Kakashi. So Nice time bank here on the side of Valkyries.
Definitely, just under 4 minutes left for them. And they do have to be careful though with Game of Blood. Get a pretty big tire here. A nice drag from young Phoebe.
Yeah, Habibi doing a really good job of kind of splitting the team here on basically, but you know, I really like the follow-up that we have seen from basically throwing.
A good hold there from basically throwing. They were able to bait out the dragons.
It's nice to see both of these teams know how to utilize their ults. You know, you're not just seeing an ult get popped for the sake of let's save this team fight or, you know, do this or that. They're for the most part fairly thought about ults here.
Nice shot, does find 2, but the grab. The grab is even bigger. Coalescence was popped to save those in the grab, but it wasn't enough.
Clan Tag showing us their player pool here on their 3rd tank of the night right now.
Bob does come out. Oh, that's an unfortunate Bob.
It is preventing, it did prevent Weiss Queen from coming back into the fight almost for a second or two there. Had to take a different route.
Nice shot there though. Was able to find 2, and it's looking like cleanup for Valkyries. Tag was stuck there due to the trap. The dragon's coming out almost to confirm it by taking out the right side of spawn. And solid time bank, just over 2 minutes for Valkyries here.
0-3. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Yeah, definitely a nice push. I think Valkyries were fortunate in that they were able to get 1 or 2 picks quite quickly coming into the fight, and this was consistent all throughout the map. Made
And they
difficult for basically trying to sort of come into the fight as a 6v6.
they definitely played aggressive when they got those picks too.
Now let's see, we do have the double spam again for defense here, along with the brawl tanks. Sort of keeping a similar lineup, if not the same. Basically are going to go for a Genji and Tracer for DPS. That's interesting, along with a Ryan Hog. So not something you see very often. Think they'd go more towards dive, but let's see how it goes.
I mean,
Nice
if it's
match.
working, you know.
Habibi putting in a lot of work here. Fortunate miss for Clan Tag on that hook.
Early pick there onto Gamer's Blood. Might cause basically throwing to back up here. Especially because they're down 3 now.
And a nice bubble to make sure that Toaster doesn't get any more ult charge than he needs to. That being said, he is winning the ult charge war between him and Kakashi.
Those fire strikes make a massive difference.
What's Kakashi's plan here? Oh, Pup didn't see him, but he wasn't able to find anyone. Habibi doing just so much work right now. Nice headshot onto Gamers, and then following up with Valerian and Lady of Siren. Pup finally takes him out, but there is a res available. A nice 4K there from young Habibi. I think
Doing
if
a
you were
lot of
basically,
work.
if you were basically throwing, you would definitely want something to answer young Habibi.
That
I think the
Hanzo.
Ash might not be enough. Gamer's Blood going on to the Echo now might be a good shout, taking him down, but he is pocketed by Danny Yuki.
Early pick onto Weiss Queen there on
Yeah, very nice
Clan Tag.
Clan Tag.
Able to take out a tank too.
This is exactly what they needed. Gamer's Blood with a 3K. Reminding
Sometimes you just
young
gotta-
Habibi that he isn't the only DPS on the playing field right now.
I like the aggressive push here to make sure that they try to, you know, cap this point, get it. Don't want to allow a recontest here.
It's going to be definitely difficult for Valkyries to return. Looks like they have to give it up. And a very smart play there by basically throwing. Looks like 2 of them are going into the back line. Spooky was able to take out Clan Tag.
Even though there's a quick spawn there for, basically, it does push them back for a minute or two. A second or two.
Very nice block there from Toaster as well. The Dragon splitting the team here. So they weren't able to push up onto Clan Tag. And the grab comes out. That's a huge grab as well. Finding the copied Echo in there.
Really nice copy from the Echo onto the Rhine, though, able to kind of get that shield up when we saw Toaster go down.
And then young Habibi and Weiss Queen just following up there. Kakashi again with these antics. Does find one this time.
A lot of damage going back and forth between these two teams.
Both Rhines have the shatter. Nice block there from Kakashi and Toaster as well.
Kashi does go down, but we are going to see that res from
Very
Danny.
nice res.
Good use of Valk to get in there and get right back out.
That was a Nice pin there from Toaster, but an even nicer bubble from Pookie. Toaster
Clan
found in
tag.
no man's land.
Clan tag bubbling Gamers to make sure Gamers is able to get out of that though. We just see a very aggressive push here from basically pushing them all the way back to spawn.
Yeah, smart
Would it be
play again.
worth to see a grab to keep them off point here?
Ooh, it depends. I think it might definitely be worth it now, especially with their grab being used. Someone was able to touch. Unfortunately, they did both teams did use the grab, but at least they confirmed that second point there. And now the follow-up. I do like this aggression from basically throwing. We do have copy online along with coalescence for basically throwing. So the tire from Weiss Queen is gonna also be online for this fight.
Yeah, basically he's gonna have to watch out for this Junkrat tire. They need to take this out early.
Especially since they have no defensive ult. A nice pick from Pookie onto Toaster. And Weiss confirming that this team fight is over now.
It's still going fairly back and forth, but definitely want to see basically back out of this one.
Nice coach gun from Bub. I was going to say, was able to save Valerian, but not for long. Weiss was able to get that last second stagger. So both Rhines do have the shatter. Does find Kakashi. It's going back and forth. Nice res onto Bub. So the grab does come out and finds 3.
But Ryan and Mercy in those back lines can be dangerous if they can take them down quickly.
And the Rhine copy does come out. Daniyuki did try to contest as long as he could, especially being the last person in the fight.
You see both Ryans splitting here a little bit. Nice hammer down from Gamer's Blood, kind of keeping them off point. Making sure basically is able to get this in, but touch at last point.
Nice counter pin there from Toaster. Oh, and the fire strike as well to take out the tire. Gamer's Blood putting in a lot of work here. Does find 2. Clan tag with a follow-up. Pookie does find Bub. So Lady of Siren with 2 picks. They need to get rid of this wall.
Such an incredible fight back and forth of just, you know, both teams really doing their best and fighting their hardest here.
Yeah, I definitely don't know who's going to win this. Even with Valkyries having 2 minutes and 30, it's still anyone's fight right now.
Initiating match.
Okay, who is going to be defending first? I think it's going to be basically, right?
I never can tell, if I'm being 100% honest.
Ready for battle.
But it looks like basically attacks first.
I knew that. I was just testing your knowledge. So from Valkyries, we do have the Brawly tank line. Younger BB is going to be on the McCree this time around. Weiss Queen on the Junkrat, and they are running the Lucio Mercy for heals. Now basically throwing, it looks like they're going to be running the Farah Ash with a double shield. Now Mercy can be utilized with both DPS here, so definitely a smart comp. Younger BB accidentally falls off the map. Is he going to be able to get the high ground in time? Maybe a smart idea for Living Truth to maybe go taxi him. Swapping onto the soldier, maybe just to get back quicker. Gamer's Blood does take out Weiss, but a nice res from Daniyuki. Gamers with the first pick here. No one is looking up for him. Young Habibi looked too late, but Bubsud was able to take him out. Bubsud again, taking out Living Truth here. A very solid hold. Kakashi being the last one on point. It looks like White Queen is going to go onto the Hanzo here. Clan Tag swaps to the ball. Definitely got to be careful with basically throwing. As I said, that was a very nice headshot from White Queen. A nicer res. Got to be careful with spawns now. As soon as one person dies, basically throwing will maybe get collapsed upon from Valkyries. Ooh, very nice shatter, finds 4. Is this going to be it? It's looking like it. White Queen and Pookie with 3. The ulting Mercy is not enough.
But even getting first point with only about a minute to go and pushing it just a couple of inches there.
Yeah, I think at least you were able to take that point. That's the main thing. You don't need to worry about Valkyries only needing to take 1 tick or anything like that. So if basically play their cards right, they can hold this. If you were basically, what would you have as the lineup?
It's hard not to run a Bastion on these situations, but honestly, from what I have seen of basically thus far, there are more mobile comps, so I would really like to see maybe like an Ash Torb. Something to just kind of input a little bit of damage there, but the Junkrat is also a great pick. I like the strong heals that we're seeing, but maybe that Baptiste could be a little more utilized instead of, I would say maybe the Mercy, honestly.
I think the Mercy is there to pocket Bub, though I am in agreement with you. I think having some sort of defensive get out of jail free card will really go a long way, especially with like a tire coming out from White Screen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
I do like the McCree Junkrat pick from Valkyries here, along with that broad tank lineup. Pretty much running the same lineup over the course of this map. And I'm liking the rotation as well. Gamer's Blood was the first pick, though White Screen was able to take out Gamer's Blood. A nice pick, or pin, onto Toaster there, but it wasn't enough. I'll be able to find 2. A nice res from Lady of Siren. Definitely a strong start for basically throwing into their defense, and they are able to knock out 40, maybe 50 seconds. Valkyries do need to be careful with what rotation they take. They don't want to suffer the spam from the Dynamite and the Junkrat. Looks like they've gone through the coastline here. They were all able to get onto point from here. Is it going to be enough though? They've got to be careful from the DPS on top. The Young Habibi does take out Gamer's Blood. Is that going to get rezzed? Bub with a nice headshot onto her counterpart. Daniyuki
And an amazing Dynamite.
Bub's popping off right now, able to find White Queen. Buki with a pick onto Toaster. The main shield is gone. The shatter comes out, unfortunately was blocked by Clan Tag. Really nice shield there.
And Bob booped off of point, not able to kind of super hold there, so you do see the rest of basically throwing push in to make sure that point does not get lost to them.
Now Clan Tag and Game is doing a good job. Kakashi was able to take out Bub, but the res is also there. Young Habibi is back into this fight. It's looking more so in favor of Valkyries right now. The cleanup is also there. They haven't got to take it very far, but they've only got 20 seconds. I think Valerian might have suffered from, bad spawn. tough. West
Especially, we need a big ult here from Toaster in order to stop this push.
They need to be careful of this tire. Wasn't able to find anyone. The West Wing does find Gamer's Blood. Oh, and they weren't able to touch. Valkyries making it 1-all.
Play of the game.
A very nice grab there, able to find 4. Very nice numbers from both teams. What do you think basically throwing needed there?
I think having what we called on the first attack there from Valkyries, having another DPS to kind of help counter Habibi on that long distance could have been very helpful there for basically throwing.
Yeah.
But honestly, all I think that we saw there was Valkyries kind of what we talked about first map, settle in and really target focus who they needed to focus down and just start, attacking the same person, attacking aggressively, really good heals from Danny Yuki, going back and forth, really good reses that did go very unpunished. Danny was very good in regards to the angles that they took on those reses, but you can never let a mercy res is one of the big things that you can take away in these kind of fights.
I think like you were saying, Danny was playing those angles really well and he was able to get off a lot of clutch reses. I know he was resing young Habibi a lot and he was putting in a lot of work as well, both before he died and after he got resed as well, so definitely want to be careful.
One of the things that happens when you play against a mercy is, you always have to, once you get that pick, especially if it's a close pick to you, you have to push in aggressively and shield against that res, being capable of happening. Because it really helps keep the fight 5v6, and it really can help turn fights.
Don't mind me, I'm just trying to find Anubis. There it is.
Oh, and I need to plug my laptop in so it does not die. In case anyone was interested, I am keeping an eye on the Tier 1 game, which is right now in Map 5. It is 2-2 between Pepe Hands and Mintons.
Definitely going to be a fun one to watch as well. Though we're more important, so you guys should definitely stick around and watch us.
We're always more important on this stream.
So I think that should be that.
Then we have Toaster Gamer, Clan, Bub, Siren, Twinkie. You are good.
Wonder what we're going to see for Anubis. Maybe the Junkrat Ash for defense. I know that's very popular, considered meta by a lot of people with that double shield. You can definitely see basically throwing going for that. I wonder if we're going to see another Sombra from Ravioli this time.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ravioli playing Sim again. Because I think a Sim on Anubis can be super helpful, especially on defense. It helps you get back a little quicker. On top of those turrets, if they're not handled, can put a lot of poke damage in there.
Yeah, you can definitely do some wacky strategies Yes, that is Jibba from our league. I see, welcome.
I see. We love to have you, our three-time tournament champion, who unfortunately missed the last one, but hopefully makes this next one.
Yeah, still
We have a
haven't
lot of
quite
good
forgiven him.
widows for this 1v1 coming up.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, I definitely would sign up if it's still open.
It is still open. I am not closing it until Wednesday, basically.
Nice. And we've got the readies here.
We've got about 40 or so people signed up for that at the moment.
It's definitely going to be a fun one.
Now,
I want to see you
We
all
will
there so
be
I can click your heads.
going on both Twitches at the same time. So
initiating match.
Jibba and Pixie sound alike. Really? I think they sound completely different.
I take that as a compliment because I love Pixie, and Pixie is one of the most friendly people in our league. So I
Yeah, she's so nice.
appreciate that, Becca.
So it looks like... Oh, interesting. We're running the Junkrat Ash for attack instead of defense. Could definitely be utilized here. But we are running the Echo Junkrat for defense. With the Brawl tanks instead of double shield. And Lucio Mercy for heals. Now basically throwing are going to be running the Ash Junkrat with Brawl tanks and Lucio Moira for heals. So they're going to be winning in terms of health. The Junkrat on Valkyries is going to be doing probably more because the chokes are tighter on this map. But let's see how they get along. Liam did jump down. Pookie was able to get Toaster and bail him out. Definitely a good idea from basically throwing to just wait until Toaster comes back.
Yeah, it's really hard to push, especially on this map specifically. Hard to push in without having that main tank there. But we're seeing a really good job from the side of basically, unfortunately, just Valkyries were able to kind of focus in on who they needed to there.
Definitely, it sounds like they listened to me from map 1 and Ravioli and Ice doing a really good job, able to get quite a few picks there, putting a lot of damage and pretty much get their ults for this next fight. And Clanktag has popped the target. Is he going to find anyone? The beat does come out from Fentanyl. So the Ty can wait a little bit and maybe find one or two. No, the timer has gone. That's a big ult gone.
But it was really smart of Clantek just to try and wait that out as much as they could because they did bait out the beat there on the side of Fentanyl.
So White Queen there doing a really good job, able to find two with their tire, and then the follow up onto Clantek. Now they did have to use 4 ults there, copy, tire, along with both support ults. But they do have both tank ults to work with here. If they play this right, they can only use the Rhine ult to, you know, win them one team fight, and then use the Grab for the other. But White Queen popping off, able to find 2. Definitely a lot of damage into that choke. Is Crypto on one of the teams?
No.
No?
Oh, what did you do?
nothing.
Bad. Bad.
Blame Crypto.
I blame you. You should know your pause button.
Who puts that up?
You knew it was at up.
Nice shot there, but an even nicer bubble.
Really
Nice
good block from Toaster.
It's looking in favor of basically throwing now.
But a good res again from Danny.
Sentinel was able to find a kill. A lot of ults being used here. Desperation from basically throwing, but it looks like they're gonna take this point.
Secure that point.
Ravioli has swapped onto the Lucio, maybe to get a beat. There it is. Unfortunately, wasn't able to proc. Very good job there from basically throwing. They did have to throw a few ults into that, but were able to take point A. And now they're going to have just under 3 minutes to get point B here. Twinkie does have a beat coming into next fight, so he can use that against Mickey's grab. But aside from that, there's not really much going on. Toaster is going to be close to the shatter. The White Queen's going to have this tire. Is she going to use it? The kills were taken rather quickly from Valkyries there, from the 2 in grab.
Siren trying to sort of hide there in the back a little bit, but Siren and Bleem had a bit of a moment there where they sat together for a second. Surprised to see Valkyries did not allow Siren to stay together or to stay alive a little bit longer there. Wait until the very end to kill them. Those staggers can be very important and would be interesting to see if that hurts Valkyries.
I wonder what Ravioli is up to here. And a very nice counter shatter there from Bleem. Was able to find 3.
Great
Take
beat
Toaster
from
out.
Sentinel though. Able to save them from that tire from Clantag.
Twinkie being really aggressive here, I like it. So close to being taken out though. Now the opening pick is in favor of basically throwing, but the tire does come out. White's been able to take out Clantag and almost stop basically throwing's push here. But Gamers and Lady Siren,
But if Bub is able to build up this ult and they are almost 25% off of it, it could be a game changer to take at least a part of this point.
nice shatter finds 2. And the unintentional pin onto the Reinhardt is gonna allow Pookie to get 2 there.
Almost would have liked to see that Bob be held for next fight, but
Yeah, I
I
think
liked
that-
the intention there from Bub.
I think Bub may have thought that the fight was still going on, especially with not very long left. Clan does have this tire, but Pookie knows he's there. He's gonna have to get out there immediately. Unfortunately, goes onto point and gets taken out immediately. Beat does come out for Valkyries. It's looking like they're gonna hold this. Shatter does find Bleem.
It looks like it could be going in the way of basically throwing here. But respawn advantage for Valkyries is pretty key. They need to take Danny Yuki down, which they do.
Wow, that was shake. Can they get this final tick? Able to take out Fentanyl.
I will say, basically throwing, never give up on these team fights. They really, even though we've seen it twice, they have taken it to overtime. They've been able to capitalize upon the fact that they're taking it to overtime.
Taking it with the skin of their teeth for that fight, actually. It's really impressive that they were able to bring that fight for that, well, final fight there. Definitely a nice
Sometimes
take.
that's all you need, though.
Now, they definitely, basically throwing definitely want to win this in order to keep the pressure onto Valkyries.
Just to keep our chat updated, it looks like we have a win in the Tier 1 game. Pepe has taken Mintons 3-2.
Spoilers.
I mean, I don't know who won what map, but all the spoilers.
Now, I'm not surprised to see basically throwing here with the Junkrat Ashe double shield for defense. Surprised that they're running a Lucio instead of a Baptiste, but more or less this is definitely going to be difficult to pass through. Ravioli going on to the Mei this time, and they're running the Junkrat along with the Brawl Tanks and Lucio Mercy.
It could be a comfort pick. It could be that, you know, they're looking for Clan Tag to get some early damage in along with getting out with that Lucio, but...
Now the Junkrat is going to be doing a lot of work for both teams here because they're running low heals. Nice headshot from Bub, was able to take out Fentanyl. Danny does get the res, so this is going to keep on going. If I was Bleem, I would definitely be careful going into that room. Nice May wall, I like the idea behind it.
And Bub with some real early damage here, able to do a lot of work to make this fight a 4v6. On top of Clantag already having that tire.
Yeah, definitely a stronghold there for basically throwing. They do have both their DPS ults up. Fentanyl is close to a B, and Danny does have the res, or excuse me, the... What do you call the Mercy ult?
Valk.
I knew that. A real Papega moment there for me. Again with a nice early pick for this team fight. Valves are going to have to be careful. Don't think Danny has the res just yet. A nice beat to counter the Rapton Flux there. Preston does have a shout, as does Bleem. Who's going to pop it first? Oh, and that was a smart play there from Toaster. It's looking like it's in favor of basically, or excuse me, Valkyries right now. Crab does find two. And a very nice res onto Bleem as well. You can't let Danny keep getting away with these. Clantai just trying his best to stall it for as long as possible.
Vice Queen on a Widow. A little bit of a different look here. I like it.
Definitely will be fun to watch. It's going to be difficult for a Widow to get a lot of value against double shield, but maybe she can thread the needle here. Nice bubble from Pookie. Able to keep Bleem alive, and they are able to go into this next fight. And the opening pick in favor of Valkyries. Bleem with a follow-up. This is looking like a strong take for Valkyries right now.
There is time still for a stall.
Smart usage of sights from Widow as well, to know exactly who's coming from where.
What a freeze from Ravioli, able to keep Bub off point, and then Weiss was able to get that headshot in there.
Score 2-2.
Now I believe Valkyries only need to take one tick in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Definitely a strong time bank here. I think if I was basically throwing, I may want to pull a Bastion out. Chat, what do you guys think?
Goats, right chat? We want to see goats.
I don't know if goats are gonna help.
Goats always helps.
Nation wants the Bastion. Of course you do, Nation. Alright, so from the defensive side, on basically throwing, we are going to see Bub on the Mei this time around with the Junkrat keeping the Reinhardt, but going for the Zarya instead of Sigma and Lucio Moira. Okay. Ravioli is on that Sombra with Weiss being on the Junk, running the Broad Tanks and Mercy Lucio.
Sombra could be huge to help them push to this point.
I think the Sombra may be used to create space.
Boats, bashing goats.
Bastion goats. That sounds horrible.
Toxic. That sounds more toxic than normal goats.
I would not be commentating a game where there is a Bastion and goats.
I would.
Let's get the hack onto Gamer's Blood, but was taken out by Lady of Siren.
White's been taking a nice angle from the rest of the team.
A nice headshot from Bob there. A nice pin there from Toaster, though Danny was able to get the res onto Fentanyl.
But it looks like Fent does get caught out and does go down to Toaster.
Now they've knocked off about a minute coming into this next fight. So
Agent, welcome to the stream.
I wonder if Valkyries are just going to build up a couple of ults and all press triangle at once. We do have quite a few ults online for basically throwing though, so they've got to be careful.
If it works, it works.
Toaster does get hacked, but a nice bubble to keep him safe. Damn, what is it with everyone destroying tires tonight? Bob doing a really good job taking out the tire and Weiss Queen. Clan does get Bleem. A nice res onto Danny Yuki and does find two from Toaster. Now this is looking worrying for Valkyries.
60 seconds remaining.
So they've got 5 ults coming into this next fight. That being said, basically throwing here with 4 of their own.
And that Mei ult could be key. I know we don't like to see a lot of zoning ults at the same time, but a Zarya ult along with a Mei ult at the same time to just make sure you get those kills.
It's looking like Valkyries here are going to take it. That was a nice freeze. EMP here did find Siren only, but everyone was dead, so looks like Valkyries take it 2-1. I think basically throwing, we're doing a really good job defending there, but I mean, if 5 people all press triangle at once, there's not really much you can do.
That was a really impressive hold there from basically because there's a lot of a time bank there for Valkyries, and they held through a lot of that.
Yeah, it was pretty much last fight there for when they won it.
Incredible heals there from Danny Yuki
Yeah, very
in
strong
a
numbers.
15-minute game.
They should have clicked heads. I think it was only the Reinhardt there for when the blizzard popped. Hammerheads. Just get the Torbjorn out. Living Truth is basically throwing, right?
Nope.
I knew that. It is Valeria?
Yes.
Looks like young Habibi is going to come back in here, so definitely exciting. Maybe see his Hanzo pop off, especially on Rialto here. Gonna be a fun watch.
Servers are to be sent to US Central, so then that means the servers are fine.
And looks like basically throwing are going to be running the same lineup here. Now, what do you guys want to see coming into Rialto?
I would like to see young Habibi back on that Hanzo, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of work. It's I mean, Rialto is a really good sniper map for first and second.
More boops. Cat wants more boops. I hope that we will see that for you, Cat. Or Mama.
I don't think we've
Whoever
seen a
is on
lot
whose account.
actually, have we? We saw a little bit on Ilios, but
Readies from both teams.
let's go. The score is 2-1 to Valkyries.
Welcome to Rialto. Initiating match.
I would like to see a Pharah though. I can't. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Echo coming out though.
Ready for battle.
And there it is. Looks like Clan is going to be on the Echo. They are going to be running the double shield with the Lucio. Bub on the Ashe and Lady of Siren on
Attackers incoming.
Mercy.
In 30
Okay.
seconds.
And Valkyries. Hog Ride with Junkrat Doom. Maybe you won't see that Hanzo coming out.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
This is a good map for Weiss Queen to get a lot of shield break inputted here.
Actually not bad for Doomfist either. The server affects people's connectivity by well, through ping. If you look on the top left for me, it says 120 ms, which means my input lag or input delay is slightly longer. Whenever I press a button, it's going to take 120 milliseconds, I think, microseconds.
So we set to Central in order to be the most fair because we have West Coast, we have EU, we have East Coast. Most normally we don't have that many EUs in the game. It's West Coast, East Coast. So Central is the most fair server.
So the lower the number is for your MS, the better it is.
Flight routine activated.
Now a lot of back and forth here. Nice shatter, finds 3, but the beat does come out. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get the Twinkie. I am liking the follow-up here from basically Thrain. A swift getaway from young Habibi.
Really good aggressiveness here from Valkyries. They were able to get a lot of push and utilization on this point. Or, I'm sorry, not Valkyries. Oh no, yeah, Valkyries. My bad. That fight just confused me there with basically turning the fight there.
Yeah, basically doing a good job. They did expend 2 ults, but were able to keep the point there. And Twinkie is close to another beat. Now, Weiss Queen does have a tire here. But because Twinkie doesn't have the beat, it could be devastating. Here it is. Toaster again with a nice fire strike, able to take it out. Young Habibi takes out Twinkie, but Clan takes out Weiss Queen here. Looking in favor of Valkyries, and it seems like they're going to take point 2. Nice res onto Toaster, but it's just looking like clean up here. And Danny takes out his counterpart. Now Clantac has swapped onto the Tracer. Young Habibi was able to take out Barb, doing a really good job here. The Clantac does avenge his teammate, and Lady of Siren does get the res. I wouldn't be surprised to see, he beat me to it, a shatter from Kakashi. Has got to watch out from Toaster shatter, does. A nice block, though the pin, not so much.
Tech Train cries an 80 ping average. I cannot complain. I have usually like about a 50 to 60 ping average.
Hey, I've got 120, 130 because I play in American servers.
Java.
Nice stick there. Clantac able to find two as Danny flew into his team. He was able to get a nice stagger onto Ice Queen as well. Let's get into the mind of young Beagle here. Wants to go for the flank and potentially get one or two with his hobo. James Blood does have the eat available. Can he get the follow-up? Not looking likely. Unfortunately for basically throwing, they were able to bait out Beagle's ult and take him out at the same time. Now I think Valkyries may need to change up the formula here. Do have quite a few ults coming into this next fight.
I think they might just be hoping for a triangle fest to kind of take this next point at least, which would be smart of them.
That was a big combo.
Tire may be a little unnecessary at this point because they could have used that for last one. But
I agree with you there. I think they done it for the style points. Clantac is
just to
still
make
alive in the back.
it never also hurts to make sure you get point and you know you keep being able to push through this little choke here. But we did see young Habibi and Kakashi able to combo that ult really well.
You gotta be careful, someone's got a touch. Bob doing a good job of stalling. Habibi was able to get the punch behind onto her. And
Siren doing an amazing job here, staying on point to allow Twinkie to get back here.
oh, but the boot though. Was that a boot? I think he was able to touch.
I think a bit of a boop and self staying alive.
To 3. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Now, it's not the best time back in the world, but at least they did get the 3 points there. So
Without taking it to overtime.
yeah, Valkyries will give themselves a pat on the back there, maybe take a little breather, but fortunately for basically throwing, this is potentially their comeback and maybe take it back to map 5.
Ready or battle.
I have faith. I think they can do it. We love map 5s.
If they snowball all the way through, then it's definitely going to be in their favor. That Shatter Meteor Strike combo was spicy, I agree. It was a big
It was
shatter.
very well timed. They definitely talked about that. You can tell they talked about that.
Now it's looking like for defense they're going to be running a Genji Junkrat with the Hog Reinhardt instead, which is going to be interesting. Now, as I was saying before, from basically throwing, they are going to be running the Pharah Ashe, so they can utilize the Mercy on both DPS, Rein Diva along with the Lucio.
Incoming. Stop the payload.
Both DPS hiding on the top left here, I like it.
There's no hit scan to really deal with this Fire Mercy, so if this Fire Mercy can get a lot of value, that would be great.
Nice pick from Clan Tag. The Kakashi takes out his counterpart.
Clan-Tag doing a really good job of trying to keep them off point there.
Nice hit from Eagle. Was able to take out Bub. I think basically throwing here need to wait for their Reinhardt.
While I really like the Lucio pick, we're not really seeing a lot of speeding into Valkyries, so maybe a little more heals might be the call.
I think it's not sure why. I think
Great
the
picks.
Mercy might just be to get the damage boost onto your Baby. This is definitely what basically throwing needed here. Quite a convincing start.
If they can stagger this Rhine that they're trying to kind of, or not Rhine, the Hog there, that's going around in the back lines now.
Yeah, it might be smart to all just collapse onto Eagle. You definitely don't want to keep him alive, and you can tell he's looking for someone. Does find Bub and takes her out. A nice shatter from Toaster though, was able to find Living Truth. Finally Beagle was taken out. Not before he done quite a lot of damage to the team though. That was a strong comeback from Valkyries. That's dynamite. So is Danny going to be able to res? I believe he used the res on that last fight. Kakashi up to his antics yet again.
But a really nice block from Toaster.
Was able to find Twinkie with it though, surprisingly. Oh, Beagle with a nice hook onto Clan Tag. The Siren has been spotted by Danny Yuki. I think it might be smart to just get out, because otherwise this hog is gonna destroy you. Yep, there it is. Now we do have a few ults coming online. Clan Tag does have the barrage for this next fight. So it is gonna be a last fight. It's gonna be 20 seconds left. It's gonna be difficult. Oh, and a nice dagger. Looking like Kakashi is waiting for a meme pin here. Oh, that was a really good beat, otherwise Clan Tag would have been taken out by Beagle. Valkyries win the series 3-1.
And that is what we are seeing. Which brings us to our favorite.
Indeed. Let's just appreciate this play of the game though. I think this is with the sticky. Very nice play.
Who are you thinking for those MVPs?
Let's start with tank. So This is a tough one. I've got three people that I want to highlight here.
Okay.
I think Gamer's Blood, Beagle, and Pookie all done fantastic jobs tonight. I think they definitely highlighted their main tank more than anything. Gamer's on the, I believe he was on the Zarya and the Sigma for the most part. He's
Hmm.
definitely doing a good job coordinating with his team and Toaster. Um, I think Pookie was doing an incredible job with the grabs, with the high energy. And got a lot of sort of team combos that just convincingly won them the fight. And then Beagle was just doing Beagle things and getting stupid crazy hooks, and it worked for them. So, in all honesty, I do want to give it to Beagle.
I can agree with what you're saying. I do want to give a bit of a shout out to Kakashi. There were a lot of really sneaky plays as the Rhine that they went for in charges, and half the time they did work out, half the time they didn't. For me, though, I think what we saw from Pookie um, really highlighted the game sense that they have. They use some really great bubbles on their heels to get their heels out. When Danny was going for specific reses and things like that. The high charge that they played almost all game that we saw. It's I could go with Pookie or Beagle. I personally would go with Pookie.
Actually, now that you mention it, they were getting really nice bubbles onto their Ryan as well when he was getting pinned. Now that you said it, I kind of want to go for Pookie.
So Pookie it is then. So let's go to DPS.
DPS.
I'm pretty hard set on my DPS pick, if I'm being 100% honest, of Young Habibi. Um, just the incredible amount of times that they built up Dragon when they were playing Hanzo. And they weren't using that Dragon necessarily. They weren't trying to pair that Dragon with an ultimate. It was to split the team so that Valkyries could focus in and take somebody down. But also, just that last map, what we saw when they played Doomfist additionally. The smart use, a Doomfist ult, you typically don't see, in my opinion, a Doomfist get a 3K. It's like while Weiss Queen did amazing, and while Gamer's Blood, Clan Tag, and Bub also did amazing, I just really feel like Young Habibi went uncontested a lot, which we talked about on different maps. That basically throwing needed to contest that Hanzo, needed to go after them, and then just seeing kind of the different play styles. They can play aggressive, they can play passive. For me, it would be Young Habibi.
Okay. I do definitely want to give a shout out to Bub and Wise Queen. I think they had a very strong showing today. Bub on the Ash and Wise Queen on the Junkrat. But again, I think, like you were saying, I think Young Habibi was incredibly consistent. He was getting a lot of opening picks, getting a lot of really nice headshots, and putting a lot of pressure into the enemy team. So again, my vote would be to Young Habibi.
Would be to who? You cut out.
Young Habibi.
Okay.
For support, who did basically throwing hat? I forgot their names. This is why you shouldn't leave at the very end.
For support, we saw Valerian Steel, we saw Lady of Siren, and I know there was, and then we saw
Ah,
Twinkie on
I have
the
my
Lucio a lot.
mind. Okay, I think Twinkie was doing a really good job. Was able to get quite a few boops with Lucio at the beginning, I believe. Did get quite a couple of kills on the Lucio as well as providing very good beats for his team when they were in a pinch.
I can definitely agree with that. I think we saw really good, Fentanyl, Living Truth, both really good at the off rolls that they played. We saw them both play Lucio, had really well timed beats. But I do think, in regards to the healing aspect of it, Twinkie, the speed boosting in, and there were even moments that I thought maybe Lucio wasn't 100% working, but actually made it work for basically throwing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do want to give a shout out and potential honorable mention to Danny Yuki though. I think they were getting some insane reses off throughout, and that just turned the tide of the fight in their favor.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I think that settles it. It's gonna be Pookie for tank, Young Habibi for DPS, and Twinkie for support. I think that wraps things up for tonight.
Yeah.
When is the next game? If you want to let the viewers know.
Um, Next games are still being. There's a game going on right now on our Twitch between Beast Edition and Pizza Planet Deep Dish. So if you guys want to go check out the main Twitch, Overwatch Oasis stream, that is happening right now. I don't have a score update. I know they are on Numbani because that game did start a little bit late. But after that, our next couple of games are not scheduled until a little bit later in the week. So
Yeah, definitely worth checking out that tier 2 game now.
yeah.
But aside from that, I think that's going to be us signing off. Thank you all guys for coming, and we'll see you later.
Good night, chat.